Hey, what's up, guys? It's Andrew from travelingguitarist.com. Today I'm talking to you about the guitar and the piano and a common question that people typically have, and a surprising one at that, because to someone, and I'm not making fun of the people who ask the question, but if you don't understand something, people tend to ask questions that kind of suggest that they don't really get it. But people ask, is the guitar in the same key as the piano? Which is kind of an example of what I'm talking about, because to ask that question, the question in itself is kind of wrong, because on both the guitar and the piano, you can play in whatever key you want. It's just a matter of choosing the notes that are in that key on the instrument. So that's pretty much the long and short of the answer to that. However, in my article at travelingguitarist.com, I run through why that is and why you can play keys on the instrument, and I also kind of talk about the differences between the guitar and the piano and how they're kind of they're correlated in the sense that they're both instruments. They're both kind of stringed instruments, because when you play the piano, the hammers hit the string, but I mean they're quite different from each other. A big part of the reason why, however, that a guitar tends to be less conducive to composition is because I would say because of the chord voicings, and as well as the like the sophistication of how the notes are laid out on the fretboard. So on the piano, if you think about it, you got your two hands, right? And then you have 10 fingers, so you can play a chord with 10 notes in it. You can make far more, and because there's 10 notes, 10 possible notes, there's all kinds of different permutations that you're able to employ in the creation of certain sounds, right? So this is a lot different than the guitar, because you only got 5 fingers on the one hand, right? And you got one of them is a thumb. So really you only got about 4 fingers. Now some people, they use their thumb and they can actually fret by pulling their thumb around the fretboard. And there's other things you can do too. You can tune the guitar so you can play different notes and so on. But ultimately, the piano is a lot more conducive to compositions and more sophisticated chord voicings, and frankly, I'm not very good at playing the piano, but I understand how to read the treble clef fairly well, and my bass clef is alright. But I can usually figure stuff out, and I understand how to build a chord and what the chords look like in the keyboard. But when I started playing the piano again after taking lessons when I was like 6 or something, I was really kind of blown away by the way that the piano is constructed. Like it's so much easier to, like, you can see everything, because the way the piano is made, you can see how everything lays out on the keyboard. It's all in this like perfectly even, understandable and comprehensible way of looking at it. You know what I'm saying? So for instance, like it's so easy to see a C major, like just C, E, G, and then if you want it to be minor, you go C, E flat, G. And in comparison to a guitar, which is like, it's just a lot harder to see. Now obviously as you grow more accustomed to it, it gets a lot easier, of course. But on the piano, it's just so much more intuitive, and I think that's one of the reasons why most people will recommend that you learn the piano before you learn anything else, because the piano is just such a foundational instrument that it provides like an amazing jump off point and a foundational point where it's just so much easier to go into another instrument after you've learned how to play the piano, in addition to the fact that it also employs the bass clef rather than the guitar, which is just the treble clef. So yeah, I mean it's great. So for instance, I showed you where's that picture? So yeah, you got all the notes without any accidentals, sharp and flats. They're all on the white keys. Like, these are all with notes without accidentals. So that's one part of the piano that just makes it so much easier to understand. And not only that, but everything repeats itself. So you got C up to here. It's basically the same notes over and over again, and it all looks the same. And then you got your accidentals, which are the black keys. So you got C sharp, E flat, F sharp, G sharp, B flat. Now, of course, those are named differently, which is called an enharmonic, which means it has the same name, but it has the same sound and the same quality and the same pitch, but there's a different name. So the C sharp is the same as the D flat, for instance, and the E flat is the same as D sharp. So everything about it is just a lot easier. Don't get me wrong though. I like playing the guitar a lot more. I mean, you can't do vibrato on a piano, and that's one of the great things about the guitar. It's just I don't know. It's hard to explain, but the guitar, I still think it's a better instrument to play. It's more fun. But the piano is dope too, obviously. But anyway, so in the next section of the article, I kind of run through how you would go about applying your knowledge from one instrument to the other. So if you wanted to play the guitar and the piano in the same key signature as the title is kind of related to, you just have to figure out the notes on the piano, which is super easy. It may look intimidating, but it's really not. It's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And then you have your accidentals up here, and then it's just the same thing over and over again. So it's really not too difficult. So let's compare that. So where's the C major? I guess I didn't do a picture. But anyway, a C major would just be these notes right here. This is the key of C, these notes, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So that's really easy to see, right? It's very easy to see, like, that's the key of C. However, when you look at the guitar, I've kind of laid out what some of the notes in the key of C looks like. And it can be all over the place. Like, it's really a lot more difficult. Now, I didn't include every note that could be in the key of C, but it just kind of gives you an idea of all the notes that could be in that key. And it's kind of, it can be a bit daunting, And not only that, but the guitar, this fret, the 7th fret on the A string, the 5th string is E. Well, that's the same note as the 2nd fret on the D string, which is E. And they're also the same pitch. So that's unlike the piano. Like, you can't play the same note in the same pitch. Like, there's only one pitch, right? The middle C, there's no other C on that keyboard on the piano that sounds like that. So that's kind of what makes the piano special. And that's what makes guitar a little more difficult. However, there's advantages to that feature of the guitar. Like, there's a lot more, like, for instance, the way you can tune it to different notes, and the way that you can kind of play the same note in different ways. So for instance, like, you could play an E on this string, on the B string, and then an open E, and you play those notes both together. Well, that's a sound that's can't exist on the piano, really. Like, it's like you're playing two notes together, they're the same pitch and then the same note, but when they're played together like that, the vibration of both strings, it creates a sound that's very unique. So even though you're playing two at the same time, you can tell that two notes are being played. It's just a different quality, And that's about. Oh yeah, and another thing is, if you really want to figure out how to do it, I laid out a 5-step process for how you want to figure out how to play a piano in the same key as a guitar, or the guitar in the same key as a piano. So make sure you check that out. And that's about it for this video. I hope this clarified some things for you. And make sure you like and subscribe. I got to remember to start saying that. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace.